Talking this morning with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. And I love the header of this topic that you and your team came up with, and that was forgiveness, grace, and peace of mind. What life lessons and the role of insurance. And as we're going to talk about today with you, this doesn't just, it's not just inside the doors of the insurance agency or the
Mhm.
phone call. It is best practice for our entire life, right?
Absolutely. Just every area of life with family and friends and, the stress of the holidays and, things going on at the airports and everywhere in between, just take a deep breath. I had an experience with my brother-in-law. We're driving down, the road and he was trying to work something out. He was on hold for over an hour, was on the phone for a half an hour. We were all listening and he was being so patient and it was very impressive like how well he did. We all said afterward, boy, I don't know if we could be that patient and forgiving the way
Yeah.
you were. And that was really good.
Well, and we are seeing technology kind of creep in a little bit. Even I mean, creep might be the lower side of it. It might be
Yeah.
kind of taking over. Was on in a good example, and we'll kind of dive into how this plays in our lives in general. But I had an Amazon delivery, and just yesterday, and there was no, and you're seeing that more and more to talk to an agent, the chat was very much AI bots that were responding and trying to get you, further on. And there wasn't please help me. I need a customer service agent to do it. And that's going to be part of that industry pushback to say, you might be able to find your answer by going this direction a little bit further, but there's still, especially when it comes to services like insurance, we have such wide questions, and I would assume your team gets so many different questions that might get to the same result, but it's how we understand and figure out this part of our insurance and this part of our policy and such, right?
Yeah, I think it's a complicated topic where people can, struggle in terms of just simply understanding. I
Yeah.
mean, even for us who deal with it every day and have to, study it and use real life examples and things from our experience to give a good answer, right? And so, I think to an extent, there's always going to be insurance customer service live person, available.
Mhm.
But definitely a lot of the questions can be answered, and technology is really pushing, I would say, customer service in every industry. If
Yeah.
you think about this, Chris, my example would be, I've got a kind of a neat Wi-Fi thermostat for
Mm.
for my furnaces at the office and work, and it's kind of cool. Connected, I can change the temperature, turn the furnace on or off a little sooner than expected. Well, interesting enough is I currently got locked out. The email address is for work through State Farm.
Mhm.
Okay. So it is being blocked now. That company, if for whatever reason, the firewall, there's things that the company doesn't like. So all I need to do is change my password,
Mm.
except I can't get the emails from them.
Yeah. Jeez.
So then through AI, right? AI,
Yeah. Exactly.
you go on their website, there's no longer anyone to email. They don't
Mm.
put their address out there. There's not even instant messaging chat.
Mhm.
Think
Mhm.
about that. For those listeners, and maybe others have done this, but this is my first time in my life, in my career, this year, where I've had that situation where I'm like, wait, there's no phone number, there's no one to write a letter to, no email, and no chat. Wow, what in the world am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So I got to dig a little deeper to find out like where this company is. Like I got to go back door sideways to find out how to solve this problem.
I'm glad that we are bringing up these examples because this really is the core of what we're going to be talking about today. And as a small business owner, you are, and you're employing individuals that have probably been on both sides of that, the frustration side of it, the service side of it, being able to help, and now with giving customers answers that. I could see small businesses, or we at least hope, let's just say it that way. Small businesses saying, there's no way I'll treat our customers like this, right? Is that where that small business industry, which is a lot more than the big corporation side of it, the small business industry, even though it might save time and it may save effort and all of that, that frustration from your example will say, "Ah, we don't want to implement that."
Yeah, I think there's a continued challenge, and I think that everybody would know this. It's on price, not
Mm,
just in insurance, but everywhere, right? So as AI makes things more effective, arguably, and
mhm,
efficient, arguably,
mhm,
it's putting more pressure on price than ever before, insurance and otherwise, and rightfully so because of what we've went through, here in the early 2020s, is just the inflation factor is driving everybody to have to, shop for everything more than they even would like to. So I
mm,
think just in that space, Chris, that yeah, small businesses want to be attentive and will be locally to take care of you. And I think that's the power of like having a State Farm agency like mine, is that we're going to have real people that really live where you live and really care about making sure that our community is taken care of. So we're going to take that element, but in that, right, there's more stress because some individuals are like really don't, if they know that they have us and there
mhm.
is the opportunity to do some things with technology, sometimes it's easier to ask us to get it done than for
Yeah,
them to go on their phones. And even though it's super simple, and we get that, so that's why we are local. So I think the small business owners and people that do business locally, they were like, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. But just realize too that with the bigger companies that support a lot of us, because if you think about all the companies that are up and down 31 or US 10, a lot of them, right, have a mothership. Even if they're like us, we're
yep,
tied to State Farm, but I locally own my agency.
yeah,
So I,
yep,
I'm a 1099
mhm.
small business owner. But with that pressure, of the day to day, I think that just creates the challenge of servicing well, but wanting 100% to do that well locally.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. But Erin Doan is not in the State Farm Insurance office today, as you can see, because normally we would see Jake behind you or a big game animal hanging from the wall. You are traveling for a conference, and so we're able to connect with you this way. And glad that you're joining us this morning.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm in beautiful East Lansing, so a
Yeah,
lot of green and white down here, and of course
yeah.
I had to wear my blue.
Oh yeah, yeah. Got your Michigan blue on.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
well, let's talk about this topic today: forgiveness, grace, and peace. And we know life isn't always perfect. We all make mistakes. We face challenges, and sometimes some hurt, disappointment comes with it. But forgiveness on both sides, I think, is very helpful. From the frustrated customer side of it to the agent or the service industry member that is, we don't know who's on the other side of that line, or who has had a bad day or a good day, or going through life's obstacles. But I can tell you that everybody goes through something, and it's how we react, right? It's how we either say, "Okay, I got to take a deep breath," but it all starts with kind of forgiveness and just a little bit sprinkle of grace, right?
Yeah, I think it's just understanding, like you're mentioning, like everybody. Honestly, everybody's going through something, right? Like their dog just, got hit by a car, their child is not feeling well and they can't miss any more work. Or, mom is really sick and I can't get to her because she's, 300 miles away. So, what we're always talking about in my office in the customer service side is just realizing that it's not personal. People that have something going on in their life and they have to, deal with a billing or payment issue or an insurance issue, like they're trying to understand, and it's hard to understand at times, even if we explain it well. They're just something else is going on. So don't, as a customer service side, on our side, don't take it personal. On our
Mm,
side, even have grace and forgiveness, so that we can be in that proper mindset and realize that people are going through something. But we have to constantly talk about that because we are human, like you said earlier. We all feel it, and we all try our best to have thick skin and let water run off the duck's back sort of mentality. But
Mhm.
it's hard, really hard in customer service right now, no matter what industry you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're diving into sort of it's a little bit different than diving into a policy or recommendation in regards to insurance. We're just kind of we're chatting a little bit about um, making it a little bit easier for everybody out there. I think is where at the end of the day we land on that path where when we pick up that phone call or start that chat, that it's the approach that comes into play, which brings us into patience in customer service. And from your standpoint, do you feel like do you feel like we are more patient these? I think I know the answer to this already. But do you think that we are more patient with our frustrations and with the obstacles that we go, that didn't arrive, or that's late, or I don't understand this, or this price is too high on my bill, so on and so forth? Are we more patient these days or less patient?
I I think we're less patient.
Mm.
We have less time and we get busier. We think, how can we ever get any busier? I'm young, 58 years old, and been in business for 35, almost going on 40 years now. And I would say we're definitely less patient. And I think a part of that is just societally with having smartphones and instant access to answers, literally often a click away.
Mhm.
But as we all know, the with more life experience, business experience, and just day-to-day understanding of how things work, there's sometimes that things take time. The
Mm.
best answers, just take time. So I think just understanding that if you want great service, the key ingredient to the best customer experience for both customers and for us is just as a service provider, is just realizing we want to give you the best answer and we want to do it quickly and efficiently and help you so that we can move on to the other 100 things that people
Mhm.
want.
Mm.
It's funny, Chris. I will share on Monday mornings. I would highly recommend that you wait, if possible, at all possible, until Tuesday
Yeah. Yeah.
to call or deal with your situation.
Yeah.
Now, 100%, you're buying a car, closing on a house,
Mm.
and you've got to have it Monday. Um, for sure. That's why we're here. But just realize there's 5 of us in my office.
Mhm.
That's a good number of people for a small insurance agency in a small town. And we're all on the phone. So when you call and you get voicemail, please, please, please no. If you're a customer or really trying to get a quote from us, we want to talk to you. But I can tell you that Monday mornings is by far, in fact, Chris, I'll say this, that 25% of all of our inbound calls
Mm.
are between 9 and noon on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Think
From
about that. Think about
yeah.
that for the whole week.
Yeah.
So if you break that up into 8 halves,
Mhm. Mhm.
25% comes between 9 and noon on Monday morning. So we're here. We're going to respond to you typically within the hour, for sure, if possible within the half day. And if
Mhm.
if it's in the end of the day, we're going to call you first thing Tuesday morning. So again, just kind of giving patients really teeth and understanding that we're all working hard, and literally we can literally take 100 phone calls Monday morning.
And you don't want, because of that higher activity that comes into play, you don't want that customer service agent, your employees, to rush things,
Mhm.
because rush things create even bigger issues.
Create mistakes. I mean, they cause more delays later. I mean, we listen, we've got to listen carefully, take good notes. Um, and sometimes again, we can give you an answer or give me can you hold for 30 seconds? I want to investigate this a little bit. Let me pull up some of the answers that we have in the system or do a quick chat with an underwriter or a claims rep. And
Mm.
sometimes, they're busy too. So, we'll be like, "Hey, I've literally old school written down your question and need, and I know exactly when you need it by. So we're going to make sure we get it before you need it, right?
Mhm.
And so we want to be attentive to that, right? Because if there is a element for you, and you're trying to be patient with us and we're trying to, take care of the solution, just realize that some more complicated questions and situations just take time. So
Yeah.
that's why patience really matters.
I forgot to ask you a question. Uh,
Sure.
you said the influx of phone calls between 9 and noon on Monday.
hmm
When's the recommended time that we should be calling?
Well, I would say that anytime, midweek, but
Okay.
Wednesday is for sure our quietest week. We'll be
Okay.
looking around like, "Okay, this is the day if we're gonna be more proactive and
Mhm.
execute some of our goals and have conversations with people to encourage, let's say an insurance review or, there's coverages that we see that they don't have, just ask good questions, especially when we find out that people have gotten, life changes. They've
Mm.
gotten married, they've had a child, they've just bought a different house, they've changed jobs. Those all change situations because, for instance, health insurance connected to your car insurance. If you change jobs, if you have car insurance, those matter. You have to call your car insurance company when you get new health insurance. You've got to confirm that everybody in your household is covered properly, especially if you get hurt in a car accident. It's crucial. So if you're listening right now and you've changed jobs or the company has changed health insurance, please, please call your insurance agency and work through to confirm you're covered right. Because when not to do that is after a serious accident and you and some of your family members have been hurt in an accident. That is not the time to call.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance this morning about kind of customer service from both sides. If you're calling in, or if you're meeting with an agent, or on the chat on websites and such, that the approach can really matter. And it's not a we want to make sure that we don't put any confusion out there. It's not if we are mean and aggressive that that agent is going to not help us and it's going to be tougher. It's just going to be tougher on their spirit, their energy, their going through the day. They might have just gone off a phone call that was a great customer service phone call, and then we call in and just let all the air out of their balloon. So from a customer standpoint, how can we help with the approach? I think there is an approach that you would and that you have seen that will help all of us out.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit what I might say is premeditated. So I think with our busyness and I got to get this done, and you have your list and you're working through your list of things that need to get done that you don't have time to do, right? Let alone work. I'm talking just personally in
Mm.
between work, right? Or before work at lunchtime. And so just, I guess, just stay calm, even if you're really frustrated, and just have patience and give us, you know, without emotion, the best that you can, the
Mhm.
background of what you're trying to work through as best as you can, be positive, and we'll help you get the issue resolved. And through your words, you can articulate, what you're frustrated with.
Mhm.
And you know, there what we find is that there sometimes is multiple parties. It could be partly you, definitely partly us locally at the agency, definitely the company, and sometimes third parties like contractors or cleanup crews or the collision shop that all have a part in your frustration. And
Mhm.
just realize that if you stay calm and just have some patience, articulate the best you can what your grievance or frustration is, and we want to help you. We
Mhm.
that's why we're in this service industry, is because we all love helping people at my agency and taking care of you and making you happy. I'm a conflict avoidance guy. I'm in the wrong industry. I'm always trying to I want everybody happy about everything all the time, and I want everybody to get along. And a lot of people always laugh at me and like, "Man, you're too Pollyannish," and like the world doesn't work that way. And I'm like, "I know, but I'm gonna keep fighting to keep people happy and like, let's just all get along. Let's be
Give me a
kind, man. Let's be kind.
How many stress balls do you have in your office? You have a
Not
punching
enough.
bag or no, but
No, but seriously, yeah. I mean, I do, and we actually have we bought them with our logo on them and with our name and address. So we actually have little red
yeah,
basketballs, stress balls that we all have and give out. That's funny, but yeah, if
yeah,
you need one and you come in, we
mhm,
have plenty. We'll hand
there
you
you go.
one.
Absolutely.
Don't take
Now
offense if we just hand you one too. Like, don't like take that wrong. Like, here, would you like one of these?
yeah, the one that has been that's the worn down from the no, it's like,
Right.
"Here is mine, take it." No,
Here, you need
no,
this.
no, but in all seriousness, I think, you bring up a very good point, and I think also before we make that phone call or start that conversation, having the information, so that we can get the answer, that we're looking for. And as an example, I talk about the Amazon delivery yesterday. It was not where they normally delivered. I'm like, okay, where is this? And I looked out, and I'm like, no, nowhere there. Found out that it was delivered to a different suite, a different office. Even though my Amazon packages were regularly at the same drop off location, and where the and so, yeah, maybe looking around a little bit, diving deeper into the tracking, so on and so forth. Eventually found them. I did find them, but having that information, having those details or those questions ready, even jotting them down, like, okay, I want to ask this question, this question, might be very important before making that phone call, because that might save a second phone call or a follow up phone call, right?
Yeah, I think even just kind of like you're saying is so you know what you want to ask. You're taking a moment, you're taking a deep breaths before you call. I mean, if you're a person of faith, you're saying a little prayer like God help me to not really, really take it out on this person, even though I want to as soon as they pick up.
Yeah.
Just having that moment of calmness and kind of spiritual awareness of like who you are as a person, and
Mhm.
just knowing like God, please help me with this call. And I think that all is going to give you the proper frame of mind, heart, and spirit into that call. And it sounds funny, like, wait, what are we talking about here?
Mhm.
Well, we're talking about being real humans that are trying to be understanding and patient and grace filled and forgiving with each other. It's kind of like Donkey and Shrek. Like, what do friends do? We forgive each other.
Yeah,
I mean, he's yelling at Shrek, like,
that's right.
this is what we do, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's good. No, I think that's good. And you're right. It's at the end of the day, uh, you wanna feel good. You want them to you hopefully want that customer service person to feel good.
Yes.
And I think that's there's some great examples of it out there. And I think you brought up a very good point, like, with social media nowadays and with everything that we can visually see. Somebody said the other day, and I can't remember what the example was, but it was a good example of before we have had all of this technology, the social media, the photos and videos. It was I was doing some YouTubing on when you go down a rabbit hole and you're like, oh, presidencies and so on and so forth, and learning about this and that. So I'm watching these YouTube videos and I'm trying to increase the knowledge upstairs here, right?
Hmm.
And in one of the videos, it was clear that technology and the information about a new president was elected back in the day would take a ton of time to get across the country, right? Because we
Hmm.
didn't have social media and newspapers didn't provide that information as quickly and so on and so forth. But this day and age, we have technology at our fingertips, and we can see on a daily basis how others are treating others, and either that opens doors for us to treat people even worse, or it'll provide examples to say, My gosh, I can't believe they were treated that way. We as a society need to do better." And hopefully it goes that direction rather than just opening up the door that we can say and do and treat everybody in a worse situation because of examples that we see out there. Make sense a little bit?
It does. I think what it does, they talk about the circuitry of your brain, Chris, not to go off too far on a tangent here, but we can rewire our brains. The brain cells, grow and die.
Hmm.
And so in this mindset, I think that, especially if, you're younger than 25 and this is kind of what you're learning, but now you're older than 25, so many examples of what you put into your mind about, what you can do in customer service and how you can act and treat people is just wrong. So instead of learning perhaps well from practice interacting with people around you, you're exactly right. As we can see, well, let's do this. So let me put it in this frame of mind. So, being the young guy that I am, I think about 30 years ago and how we're currently reacting on the phone or in person or even in chat is how we acted when we frustrate each other on the road.
Hmm.
Behind glass, behind this 2,000 pounds of aluminum and iron or steel, is that, we get all frustrated with people driving down the road and looking at each other and getting all worked up.
Hmm.
But we have the protection of the car. Well, now it seems to be a lot more raw, a lot more open, and what people feel like they can and do and will do is just different. So, I mean, there's definitely some changes that need to be made and awareness. And I actually am hopeful. I'm watching a lot of Gen Zers as they're aging,
Hmm.
and they're actually aware of this themselves. They grew up literally sometimes in middle school and in high school now as they're growing up. They've had smartphones,
Yeah.
almost their whole life,
Yep.
which they're the first generation. And I've even heard a Gen Z new parent go, you know what? I know so much about what I went through in the smartphone. Yeah, we're actually completely changing when our kids are going to have smartphones, what
Hmm.
they're going to learn, what they're going to have access to, and we will not allow it because of what we went through. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
Gen Z's generation coming. I'm like, that is great, great news.
Some things come full circle
They
and
do.
or cyclical. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Wrapping up, one last question for you: your commitment
Yeah,
from State Farm's example standpoint, your office there.
yeah.
We talked a lot about customer service today. What are you going to do? What's your commitment to the customer?
Yeah, I think from just hear from me, from my heart. So, heart, soul, and mind. Our commitment of my agency at State Farm, Erin Doan Agency is we're just committed to delivering excellence in the service and want your understanding. We want to make you happy. We want to solve your challenge, your problems. Just realize that we're doing our best and as quickly as we can, and we appreciate your patience.
Mm.
And so we're just continuing to try to work and improve upon our response times, our service quality and with our staff. And just as we continue to grow and, train new people, we're looking forward to servicing better. I'm super, super proud of my current, team. I've got a team of 4 licensed people that work for me, Kara, Joshua, Tom, Heather, and myself. We are all committed to serving you very, very well, and just understand, like, when you leave a voicemail, we're going to call you back right away, and we want to take care of you as quickly and as efficiently as we can.
Hmm. Yep, a good approach, good information today. Aaron, if somebody does want to make that phone call outside of 9 a.m. to noon on Mondays, uh, uh,
You
in general, how do they get a hold of
don't
you?
get me wrong. Everybody's like, "Oh, good lord, we don't want to do this with them. They'll never
No,
call us to be able. They're not even available 9 to noon." No, we
no,
are.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what's that phone number that
Sure.
people can reach out to you?
Yeah, we're at 231-757-3115, and we're doing business not only in Mason County, but all over the state of Michigan. We're licensed statewide to help you in home, auto, life insurance, health insurance. We're here to help protect you and your family. And when something happens, to recover from the unexpected.
All right, good information today. You're located between Ludington and Scottville on US 10, north side of the road, and normally that red theme, the outside and the inside today, just a little bit different because you're on the road. And we appreciate you connecting with us, and I'm glad we now have the technology to do that too, wherever you are at. I'd mentioned this in the past that when you do travel to Brazil for your vacations and such. We
That's
might not
not on the
get
list right
connected here.
now,
No,
but
okay.
I will.
That's fun. Well, thanks for all that you do, and we'll look forward to connecting with you in just a couple of weeks. How's that?
Sounds great, Chris.
You got it. It is 102.7 Mama FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And as always, if you missed any part of that segment, it's right there on our Facebook pages, WMOM and Hot Country.